This is TWiT.
What about the FCC chair? Okay, they the FCC proposed new U.S. broadband standards for the U.S., long overdue in many people's opinions. What is it? 100 megabits per second up, 20 megabits per second down. Is that...
Flip that.
Opposite.
Oh, is it?
20,
sorry.
20 up,
Yeah.
100 down.
Yeah. Sorry.
We're still consumers more than creators.
Yes. Fair enough. What do you think? If this were implemented, is this enough?
No. But it's way... Basically, the FCC is I want to say they did the other standard of 25.3. That was
25.3
years ago.
Yeah, that was Ajit Pai, right?
Yeah, it was Ajit Pai. And at the time when they did it, we were all like, it should be 125. That's what everybody who was in the world, of the tech world, people who were seeing the future of the internet, that's what we all said. So all the way back in 2015, we were like, you need 100 megs down. So 7 years later, we're here. That feels like the FCC speed, in all honesty. I mean, when we got 25.3, we were moving up from 7 something. I mean, it was really
it was
DSL.
Yeah. It was bad.
And the reason it matters isn't for the 90% of us. It is for things like federal broadband rules. It's for things like the Internet Essentials Plan. So, the FCC and various ISPs have plans for people who can't afford internet.
Low income.
This will set the baseline for those programs, both formally and informally. And then it also helps determine which technologies make it. So satellite was a big reason we didn't go beyond 25.3. And getting 20 megabits per second up is going to be hard for satellite, even SpaceX.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal,
What is
but
SpaceX
it's also
now? What do they run now?
I don't know where they're up. SpaceX.
Or Starlink.
Oh, Starlink, right.
Yeah.
Starlink 50 to 20 is what they promise. But I don't know what they promised.
And then 3 or 4 up, yeah.
I'm sorry, up.
Yeah.
Premium service of Starlink claims to provide between 150 to 500 megabits per second. Wow.
But it's not synchronous, is it?
Claims to be. Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
It does claim to see synchronous.
No,
yeah,
no. It claims to be 150 to 500. I don't know. I don't think that it's synchronous.
Because with satellite, I mean, with any internet service, you have X number of channels that you can send your data over, right? X number of lanes. In most, because we're a consumption-oriented society, we tend to allocate more lanes for download than upload. So that's it makes sense, but that's where you get the super fast speeds. Is you're I can give you 100 down, but only 5 up because I only have 21 5 megahertz channels.
You know what I want is an FCC or FTC standard for claims of high-speed hotel internet. I haven't been in hotels much in the last 2.5 years, but maybe they've improved, but I doubt it.
Yeah, their ultra plans are at the best 7 megs down. That's their ultra plans.
Yeah, they're not going to let you stream Netflix for very long, most of them. But I've actually been recording podcasts. I haven't done Twig from a hotel because I'm not like you, Jeff. I can't stay up till midnight doing Twig. It's oh, no. But they're actually pretty good. I've been doing Google Meets and Zooms and whatnot.
Well, maybe the pandemic Zoom era forced it.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe there's not enough
a necessity.
Hotels. I don't know.
Maybe it depends on the hotel.
Yeah,
or the resort.
Yeah,
resort. What do you think we are, rich, Ant? We go to resorts?
I mean, I'm looking at you and all of the mahogany books and stuff behind you. Come on.
I stay here.
I'll be honest, I'm
resort.
fancy. I resort it up. And, most of us are going to be resorting it up because most hotels are adding a lot of resort fees, even if they're God help me,
Yeah.
3-star hotel.
Right. Yeah. And it's like $50 and up per day for those quote unquote resort fees. It's ridiculous.
The FTC is looking at those pricing ways. They call it what do they call it? Drip pricing. So in hotels are actually one of the places they're looking at that right now. Be encouraged. The FCC also did something, Rosenworcel, in addition to broadband speeds, yesterday sent out a letter to 15 ISPs, mobile carriers, or people offering mobile services, including the big four or the big three, and Charter and Comcast and Google and Mint. And it said, hey, I would like to know how you're dealing with location data. Do you keep it? Do you share it? What's the process? All of that. So Rosenworcel has sent those out. Their letters are due back from the carriers on August 3rd. So we hopefully will get some information about how that's being handled. And
is this Roe related directly, or? I
was about to say, not that I'm excited that we took away the right to abortion, but it is forcing the tech industry, lawmakers, and everyone to understand the data brokerage industry in ways that, I would like to have not given up my rights for, but, silver lining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking for something, somewhat of a silver lining anyways.
Miss Stacey, can we go back to the first part of this segment here? You said it's not enough, the 100 down and 20 up. You said it's not enough. Why?
Yeah, but that's because I'm a giant broadband nerd. For many people, it will be enough.
Yeah.
But if you think about 8K TV streaming, which does exist.
Are we going to assume the people that are on, say, the low income internet plan will have access to 8K anyway?
Well, I mean, who's to say? Maybe it's important for their job. I don't know. I don't want to see the internet bifurcate by levels of income more than it already has, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's call me a utopian person. But anyway, the point is, I know, me and my high hopes and naivete. The point is, you can, like a family of four, like, what's your internet speed, Ant? In your house?
It's not 100 megs, but I'm greedy.
Is it? Well, yeah, but you're probably also, if you're doing actually sending photography files, good Lord.
Yeah, lots of data back and forth. 500 megabits down was okay, but it wasn't up to my standard, I guess. So I had to bump it up because everybody's in the house with remote schooling and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think
if it wasn't for remote schooling, I probably would have been okay with 500 down, but definitely not with remote schooling coming into place the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and not that you want to set policy based on this, but if you think about the data requirements of something like the metaverse, and I know we're, I don't know what that's going to look like, but even things like telemedicine and like needing always on data. And what I really would like to see is the FCC talk about things like resiliency programs and then the quality of service you get. And
should caps go away as well?
Okay,
do you think caps should go away?
I have never thought caps made sense. They don't.
Okay.
I've
because I remember the argument. I remember the argument several years ago. The what do you call them? The vendors would say, we're trying to protect our network and keep it stabilized, yada yada yada.
These greedy people,
right? So, but then when the pandemic hit, when everybody was at home and everybody was doing remote work or remote school, you didn't hear one thing about the stability of the internet. You actually heard those vendors say, you know what, we're going to give you a little more data, blah, 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 out of goodwill. And I'm sure everybody got their allotment and then some, and there was no problems with the internet stability then. So why even have those? Why not have the government come in and say, look, you need to stop all this. This is bad practice.
Oh, well, okay. So the carriers want, or the ISPs want a scarcity model for broadband. They always have. They have never, like, Intel wants a bigger pie model, right, for selling chips. They want more chips, more places, more stuff that uses their network. ISPs hate that because they can't make money off the stuff going over their pipes. They only get to make money on having the pipe available to people. So by creating a scarcity model, they at least make more money the more you consume. That's all that is. There's no, the additional costs associated with the network are not commensurate with the additional like costs of charging per gigabyte on a data cap, if that makes sense. They're completely divorced from reality. And this wouldn't be a problem except we don't have competitive broadband in the US. And if we had competitive broadband, then you would go to a place that offers you good broadband and no caps, because the internet should be something, I mean, it's like water. It should just, I mean, water is a terrible example because we're going to run out, but.
It's information. Everyone should have access to information is what it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah. And the services, because they're essential for being alive today. I mean, some countries have named the internet and broadband internet as a basic right, as like a human right, and all the power that entails. We have not, but we should. I mean, you can't get a job today without the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree.